Welcome to Do Music.
I'm Mickey.
I'm Ben. Do Music is an easy-to-use music application that allows users to play their favorite instruments with just a mouse and keyboard. With tips included for how to play these instruments, the user can play things they already know or create their own melodies and drum beats. Do Music gives the user a lot of freedom to let their creativity thrive without being confusing or intimidating for beginners.
Ultimately, what we wanted to create was a musical application that was easy for beginners to use. Unlike many other popular music production softwares, we knew we'd be marketing to an audience that generally did not have much experience with music. So we wanted our app to be accessible while still being exciting and fun to use. We began our app with the piano feature, figuring that the piano was the most basic instrument to replicate digitally. Of the instruments we set out to create, we started working on this. We created a piano from scratch using CSS rather than using a picture from the internet. Then we made it so that each key on the piano would be triggered by a different key on the keyboard. Although this initial attempt at a fully functional digital instrument took a while for us to figure out, when the piano started working and we could play it with our keyboards, it was extremely satisfying. From here, we moved on to the drum set. Using the same methods and concepts that we created our piano with, we constructed another instrument that would play drum sounds upon clicking a key. We decided to add pre-recorded drum fills as well that would add some interest and variety to the drum set feature. Rather than designing a drum set from scratch using CSS, we used a picture of one and overlaid HTML tags on top of it. This was the point in the process that we realized our app would be easier and more enjoyable to use if we allowed the user to use their mouse to play instruments rather than just their keyboard. So we configured the drum set to work by mouse clicks as well, and went back to and did the same to the piano. We found that this made the app significantly more user-friendly, especially if using a touchscreen. From here, we moved on to guitar. By this point, we were able to incorporate the techniques we had used for the last two instruments to create the guitar fairly easily. It was interesting to see how much easier the project became as we moved along. Figuring out how to get the piano to work correctly at the beginning of the project was a difficult and frustrating task, but by the time we got the guitar, it was simply following a series of steps. And here is Do Music, Do Piano. You wanna play a little something?
I would love to. Let's see what we got. Do piano.
And then we got Do Drums. Take it away, Ben.
I'd love to.
And then we finish it off with Do Guitar.
Need somebody? I'm sorry, you cut it. Okay.
And that is Do Music.
Along the way, we encountered a few problems. An example of one of these was that good quality sound files for the different instruments we were trying to play were very hard to find, strangely. There were many sound files online that played different snippets of music, but a few that played single notes in a clear and concise manner were very hard to find. However, we kept looking and eventually found enough quality sound files to use for the project. We did have to cut the sound files to get rid of excess silence in order to ensure the smoothness of the music produced by our app, but that was not difficult. Another problem that we encountered was getting the sound files to actually play upon kicking the corresponding keys on the keyboard. We began this app with piano, and it took us the longest to figure out because we had much trouble with getting the sound files to trigger. The problem was that we were using the wrong type of slash in the file names in our code. Once we corrected them, the entire piano worked, and hearing this was Do Music to our ears. That's all, folks. Thanks.
I don't know.
Got anything to say?
Yeah, that's all.
A sign off from the CEO.
Hey, no, I'm CFO. You're CEO.
Did they ever share that?
This is the CEO
The, like,
and
slide
CFO signing off.
Invest, please.